Hello everyone, my name is Joy Kacoroski and I work as the Parks Interpretive Specialist at Deception Pass State Park. I'm incredibly excited to be able to host this virtual experience with you as we discover one of the park's most commonly asked questions. Now, as the Parks Interpretive Specialist, my job is to provide our educational programs. I get to teach people, such as yourselves, about the plants, the animals, the geology, and the history of Deception Pass. And so with that, let's go explore the park. For those of you who have never been to Deception Pass State Park before, our park is located in Washington State, about an hour and a half north of Seattle. Our park is most popularly known for its two famous bridges, the Deception Pass and Canoe Pass Bridge. Often, when people visit the park, their first question is, how did Deception Pass get its name? Well, the pass actually has many different names. Local tribes, such as the Samish Indian Nation, refer to the pass as Wichsongus, meaning place where you go inland, while another one of our tribes, the Swinomish Indian Community, refer to the pass as Chodes, which means dangerous. Early Spanish explorers even had their own name for the pass, Boca de Flan, meaning mouth of the Flan. The name Deception, though, comes from Captain George Vancouver and his expedition in 1792. Captain Vancouver left England in 1791 to explore the Pacific coast of North America. By April of 1792, Vancouver and his crew had reached an area we now know as Puget Sound. Over the next few months, Vancouver and his crew explored and mapped the bays, inlets, and geographical features of the region. As they sailed north from Puget Sound, they discovered two large waterways. Vancouver chose to send Joseph Whidbey with a smaller boat to map the waterways. First choosing to explore the right and then the left, Whidbey mapped an area we now know as the Saratoga Passage between Whidbey Island to the west and the mainland to the east. At the time, though, Whidbey did not realize the shoreline to the west was an island. Finding navigation tricky in the shallow waters of Skagit Bay, he thought that the land to the west was merely an extension of the mainland, a peninsula, and returned to report back to Vancouver. As the expedition continued to head north, this time following the western edge of what Whidbey had identified as a large peninsula, they came across a waterway with a swift current that Vancouver believed to be the mouth of a large river. Vancouver once again sent Whidbey to explore this waterway. After many attempts to sail through, Whidbey and his crew eventually made it. To their surprise, they discovered that the waterway led to a harbor they had previously mapped near Skagit Bay. This proved that the land they had been sailing next to was an island and not part of the mainland. Vancouver named the waterway Deception Pass after being deceived into thinking it was the mouth of a river and the island Whidbey. Well, everyone, I'd like to thank you for joining us today for this virtual experience. I'd like to encourage you to follow Washington State Parks on all social media platforms to stay informed as well as to discover other educational opportunities. From all of us here at Washington State Parks, thank you so much for joining us.